If you're over 60, try to imagine this happening to you. You go to bed after a light, healthy dinner feeling proud of your choices, but by morning, you wake up with slurred speech, a weak arm or sudden dizziness that seems to strike out of nowhere. These are the red flags of a stroke, and they can appear without chest pain or any warning at all. Now here's the shocking part. The culprit isn't fried chicken or fast food. It's a vegetable. Yes, a vegetable praised for decades as one of the healthiest foods you could eat. In my years of working with older adults, I've seen time and again how foods that kept you strong at 40 can quietly backfire at 70, especially when combined with common medications or eaten at the wrong time of day. Age-related changes in kidney function, blood vessel flexibility, and hydration make seniors far more vulnerable to these hidden food-drug interactions. But here's the good news. You don't have to give up vegetables or live in fear of your meals. What you need is awareness. Once you understand how your aging body processes food differently, you can still enjoy your meals safely, wisely, and in ways that protect your brain and independence. So in today's video, we'll uncover 9 common vegetables that may quietly raise your stroke risk after 60, and more importantly, how to eat them in a safer, smarter way. Stay with me until the end, because the last vegetable is one almost every senior eats weekly, and it may be the most dangerous of all. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing our Seniors Health 247 community grow around the world. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss a senior health tip that could truly change your life. Vegetable number 1, broccoli. Heart helper or hidden brain risk. Most of us were always reminded by our parents, eat your broccoli. For decades, it has stood as a symbol of healthy eating. Yet after 60, this very same vegetable can sometimes upset the balance in a dangerous way. For decades, broccoli has been praised as the poster child of a healthy diet rich in fiber, antioxidants, and vitamins that protect the heart, lower cholesterol, and fight disease. On paper, it looks like the perfect food. But here's what many people over 60 don't realize. Broccoli, under the wrong conditions, can quietly turn risky. The issue isn't broccoli itself. The danger comes from how it interacts with the medications so many older adults take every day. The hidden culprit is vitamin K, a nutrient found in high amounts in broccoli. Vitamin K plays a crucial role in blood clotting. In younger years, that's exactly what you want. It helps your body stop bleeding and heal quickly after an injury. But once you're over 60, the picture often changes. Many seniors are prescribed blood-thinning medications such as warfarin Plavix, or even a daily aspirin to prevent heart attacks or strokes. When large or inconsistent amounts of broccoli are added to that mix, vitamin K can upset a very delicate balance. Here's how it works. If you suddenly eat a lot of broccoli, while on blood thinners, your blood may clot too much, putting you at risk of a stroke or heart attack. On the other hand, if your broccoli intake swings drastically from week to week, high 1 week low, the next your medication becomes unpredictable. Your blood may end up too thin, increasing the risk of dangerous bleeding. And the most frightening part, you won't feel it happening until it's too late. Take the story of George Miller, a 79-year-old retired carpenter from Austin, Texas. George believed he was making all the right choices. He took his medications faithfully and ate steamed broccoli with olive oil every evening, confident it was keeping his heart strong. What he didn't realize was that his daily broccoli routine was interfering with his blood thinner. His blood chemistry began swinging between clotting and thinning. One afternoon, after complaining of a mild headache and confusion, George collapsed. At the hospital, doctors found he had suffered a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding inside the brain. Not from high blood pressure, not from trauma, but because his blood had become too thin to clot. George survived, but his independence was altered forever. Today he moves with a cane and speaks more slowly. With deep regret, he now shares his story, warning others, don't assume healthy food is harmless. Not at our age. So what's the takeaway? Broccoli itself isn't the villain. The real danger comes from inconsistency. If you're on blood thinners, you don't have to cut broccoli out completely. Instead, aim to eat it in consistent amounts and communicate openly with your doctor. That way your medication can be adjusted safely and your risk stays under control. And remember, our blood vessels become thinner and more fragile with age. What might only cause a minor issue in a younger adult can have devastating consequences in your 70s or 80s. So yes, broccoli can still be part of your diet, but treat it with respect. Consistency, moderation, and medical guidance are the keys to making sure this health food doesn't quietly turn into a hidden threat to your brain. With a vegetable you've probably considered a lifelong ally, but after 60, it can quietly turn into a hidden threat to your brain. I'm talking about vegetable number 2, spinach. For decades, spinach has been celebrated as the ultimate super green. Doctors praised it. Dietitians recommended it. Even cartoon characters told us it could build iron, strengthen muscles, and keep the body youthful. And truthfully, that reputation isn't wrong. Spinach is loaded with magnesium, fiber, and antioxidants that protect the heart, strengthen bones, and reduce inflammation. On paper, it sounds like the perfect food. But here's the part: most people over 60 never hear spinach can slowly shift from friend to foe if you aren't mindful about how and when you eat it. The reason lies in its chemistry. Spinach is naturally rich in oxalates, tiny compounds that bind tightly to calcium in your body. In younger adults, the kidneys usually flush oxalates out with little difficulty, but with age, things change. Research published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology shows that kidney function naturally declines over time. Blood vessels also stiffen, circulation weakens, and on top of that, many older adults begin taking calcium and vitamin D supplements for bone health. Put those factors together and you have the perfect storm. The oxalates in spinach join forces with excess calcium, creating microscopic calcium oxalate crystals in the bloodstream. At first, you don't feel them at all. But over months and years, those tiny crystals act like grains of sand inside a pipe, gradually hardening and narrowing the small blood vessels that feed your brain. Eventually, blood flow slows, oxygen drops, and it only takes one small clot to block circulation, completely triggering what doctors call a silent stroke during the night. I'll never forget one of my patients, Eleanor Hayes, a 74-year-old retired librarian from Denver, Colorado. Eleanor believed she was making the healthiest choice possible. Every evening, she fixed herself a spinach salad, topped with a sprinkle of feta cheese, followed by her calcium and vitamin D supplements. For years, it was her proud nightly ritual. But one winter morning, her daughter found her slumped at the breakfast table. Tea-spilled speech slurred her words, tangled. She had suffered a stroke in her sleep. Scans revealed calcified, narrowed arteries in her brain. Her blood tests showed high levels of calcium and oxalates, the hidden buildup that had been forming silently for months. Eleanor survived, but her independence was changed forever. She could no longer drive and needed support to walk safely. With tears in her eyes, she told me, "Doctor, I thought I was doing everything right. I never imagined my salad could hurt me." Sadly, Eleanor's story isn't rare. It's a reality many seniors face, not because spinach is bad, but because our bodies change with age. What once healed can quietly harm if we don't adapt. So what's the takeaway? Timing matters. If you enjoy spinach, eat it in the morning or at lunch, when your body can process it more effectively. If you're on calcium or vitamin D supplements, or if you have kidney or heart issues, discuss your diet with your doctor. Balance, not overload. A handful here and there is safe, but making it a nightly routine can create problems over time. Spinach is still a nutritional powerhouse, but after 65, it comes with rules. Respect those rules and spinach remains your ally. Ignore them, and it can quietly become a silent enemy to your brain. Vegetable number 3, romaine lettuce. For many older adults, finishing the day with a fresh salad feels like the smartest decision. Light on the stomach, low in calories, and seemingly perfect for digestion and heart health. And more often than not, romaine lettuce is the centerpiece of that salad, praised for its crisp texture, refreshing taste, and supply of vitamins and fiber. But here's what most seniors are never told: the timing of when you eat romaine can quietly change it from a friend to a foe. Eating it at night, especially after the age of 60, can raise your risk of stroke by morning. The reason lies in romaine's natural diuretic effect. Simply put, it encourages your body to release water. For younger adults, this effect is so mild it's barely noticeable. But as we age, it can create dangerous consequences, especially if you're already on blood pressure medication, diuretics, or following a low-sodium diet. Why is this a problem? Because dehydration in seniors doesn't always show up as thirst. Research published in the Journal of Gerontology confirms that aging blunts the body's thirst signals. You may not feel dehydrated, yet your blood volume shrinks. With less volume, the blood becomes thicker, more like syrup than water. And thick blood moving through arteries that are already narrower and stiffer with age creates the perfect conditions for clots. One small change in blood pressure while you sleep is all it takes for a clot to lodge in the brain. That's exactly what happened to Robert Hernandez, a 76-year-old retired mechanic from San Diego, California. Robert had always been disciplined about his health. Every night he prepared a large romaine salad with cucumbers, vinegar, and olive oil. He avoided heavy dinners, stayed physically active, and volunteered in his community. But one morning, his wife found him sitting at the breakfast table, confused. His words slurred and his right hand weak. He had suffered a mild stroke overnight. At the hospital, doctors found signs of dehydration and unusually thick blood. Combined with his blood pressure medication, his nightly romaine routine had quietly set the stage for a clot to form in his brain. Robert recovered after months of therapy, but his confidence was shaken. With tears in his eyes, he admitted, "I thought I was doing everything right. I never imagined lettuce could cause this." And that's the real lesson here. Romaine isn't the enemy, but after 60, timing and context matter. Even small shifts in hydration or blood thickness can have dramatic effects on your health. So how do you protect yourself? Shift your salad. Enjoy romaine at lunch when your body is active and better hydrated, not late at night. Stay hydrated. If you do eat leafy greens in the evening, drink a small glass of water alongside them to help maintain circulation. And always be medication aware. If you're on diuretics or blood pressure pills, talk with your doctor about how water-releasing foods may interact with your prescriptions. Vegetable number 4, raw carrots. Carrots often come across as the perfect anytime snack, crisp, low in calories, naturally sweet and packed with nutrients for your eyes and overall health. But after 60, that reputation comes with a warning. Eaten raw and at the wrong time, carrots can quietly shift from a harmless treat into a hidden risk for your brain and circulation. Here's why. Raw carrots are digested quickly. Their natural sugars enter the bloodstream fast. In younger adults with strong and responsive insulin, that quick sugar release isn't much of a problem. But in older adults, particularly those with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, or circulation issues, even a modest evening spike in blood sugar can set off a dangerous chain reaction. Your blood sugar rises after that bedtime carrot snack. In response, your body releases insulin to bring it back down. But research published in Diabetes Care shows that seniors often experience slower or exaggerated insulin responses. That means blood sugar may crash too low during the night, a condition known as nocturnal hypoglycemia. When that happens, your body goes into panic mode. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline surge blood vessels, tighten blood pressure spikes. Add to that the natural dehydration that comes with age, especially overnight when you're not drinking water and you create an environment where the blood thickens and clots form more easily. One of those clots lodging in a small artery of the brain can trigger a stroke by morning. That's exactly what happened to Margaret Collins, a 77-year-old retired school principal from Phoenix, Arizona. Margaret prided herself on her healthy lifestyle. She cut out candy years ago and replaced it with raw vegetables, especially carrots. "It's my nightly treat," she would tell her friends with pride. But over time, she started waking up dizzy, sometimes confused, and occasionally felt tingling in her fingertips. She brushed it off as normal aging. Then one morning, Margaret couldn't remember how to turn on her coffee maker, a routine she had followed for decades. Alarmed, her husband rushed her to the ER. Tests revealed she had suffered a mild stroke. Doctors noted fluctuating blood sugar levels during the night and evidence of microclotting in her brain's blood vessels. Her so-called healthy carrot habit, eaten raw, and at the wrong time had quietly tipped her body into danger. Margaret eventually recovered with therapy, but her confidence was shaken. She told me with tears in her eyes, "I thought I was doing everything right. I never imagined carrots could hurt me." So what's the takeaway for seniors? Carrots are not the enemy. They're still one of the best sources of vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants. But they need to be eaten wisely. Avoid eating them raw and alone at night. Instead, save them for the daytime when your body is more capable of handling blood sugar swings. Pair them with protein or healthy fats like hummus, hard-boiled eggs, or a handful of nuts to slow down sugar absorption. And most importantly, pay attention to your patterns. If you notice morning confusion, dizziness, or unusual fatigue, it may be time to talk with your doctor about your evening eating habits. Carrots can still be a part of a brain-healthy diet. But after 60, even the sweetest snack comes with rules. Timing and pairing make the difference between nourishment and harm. Vegetable number 5, garlic. Natural healer or hidden risk for your brain. For centuries, garlic has been praised as one of nature's most powerful remedies. It lowers blood pressure, supports the heart fight's infection, and strengthens the immune system. Many older adults even take garlic supplements or add raw cloves to their meals, believing they're doing something unquestionably good for their health. And in many ways, they are. Scientific studies published in journals like the Journal of Nutrition confirm garlic's ability to improve cardiovascular health and reduce inflammation. But here's the part most seniors are rarely told. After 60, especially if you're taking blood-thinning medications, garlic can quietly cross the line from protection to danger, with consequences that can be devastating. Why garlic is a natural anticoagulant. It thins the blood and slows clotting. By itself, that can reduce the risk of heart attack or stroke. But when combined with common medications such as warfarin, Plavix, Xarelto, or even daily low-dose aspirin, its blood-thinning effect can double. The result? Your blood can become too thin, leaving fragile aging vessels vulnerable to bleeding. And in the brain, even a tiny bleed can cause life-changing damage. Take the case of Helen Martinez, a 79-year-old retired teacher from Albuquerque, New Mexico. After undergoing a routine heart procedure, Helen was prescribed a blood thinner. Wanting to support her recovery naturally, she began taking a 500 milligram garlic supplement every morning and added a raw clove to her dinner each night. She never mentioned it to her doctor. After all, garlic was just a food. 3 weeks later, Helen began experiencing sharp headaches, blurred vision, and nausea. One evening, her speech slurred, and she collapsed at the dinner table. At the hospital, scans revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, a bleed inside her brain. Her blood had become dangerously thin, and a small vessel had ruptured. When her doctors reviewed her supplements and prescription, the cause was clear: not the medication alone, not the garlic alone, but the dangerous combination of the two. Lying in her hospital bed, Helen told me softly, "I thought I was helping my heart. I never imagined garlic could hurt me." That's the hard lesson. Garlic is not harmless just because it's natural. Supplements often deliver far higher doses than the cloves you add while cooking. For an aging body already processing prescription drugs, that extra boost can silently turn healing into harm. So how do you stay safe after 60? Check with your doctor first. If you're on any blood thinners, never start garlic supplements without medical guidance. Stick to food form. Garlic used in cooking is generally safe in moderate amounts. Supplements, however, can push your blood chemistry too far. Watch for warning signs: easy bruising, frequent nosebleeds, unexplained fatigue, or new headaches may all be signs that your blood is too thin. Garlic remains a powerful ally for your heart and immune system. But at this stage of life, it must be respected like a prescription drug. Used wisely, it can protect and heal. Used carelessly, it can quietly raise your risk of brain bleeds. Vegetable number 6, onions. They may be small and simple, but onions show up in nearly every kitchen and every meal. Loved for their flavor and healing qualities, they've long been considered a staple of a heart-healthy diet. Studies in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirm that onions contain antioxidants that lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and support cardiovascular health. On the surface, they sound like one of the safest choices you could make. Few seniors are ever told that after 60, onions may influence your circulation and brain health in unexpected ways. The issue isn't the onion itself, it's how it interacts with common prescriptions and the natural changes that come with age. The key compound in onions is quercetin, a powerful antioxidant that also acts as a natural vasodilator, relaxing and widening blood vessels. For younger adults, this effect helps regulate blood pressure. But in older adults, especially those on blood pressure medications or anticoagulants, the effect can become too strong. Here's what can happen: excessive drops in blood pressure. When onions and medication combine, pressure may fall too low, especially at night. Reduced oxygen delivery. Lower pressure means the brain receives less oxygen and nutrients. Reactive vessel constriction. Sometimes the body overcorrects, tightening vessels suddenly, which can promote clot formation. Stroke risk. This unstable cycle of dilation and constriction creates conditions where microclots can lodge in fragile brain arteries. Timing also plays a role. Eating large amounts of raw onions in the evening can amplify these effects overnight, when hydration is lower and blood pressure naturally fluctuates. Seniors with cardiovascular disease, atrial fibrillation, or circulation problems are at even greater risk. Consider the story of Linda Foster, a 75-year-old retired nurse from Atlanta, Georgia. Linda had always believed onions were a perfect health food. Almost every evening she made herself a raw onion salad, convinced it was keeping her arteries clear. But over time, she noticed frequent morning dizziness and episodes of fatigue. One night she fainted while getting up for a glass of water. At the hospital, doctors discovered her blood pressure had dropped dangerously low, and tests revealed reduced blood flow to the brain. The combination of her medication and heavy nightly onion intake had quietly set the stage for this episode. Linda recovered, but she admitted with tears, "I thought I was doing everything right. I never imagined onions could make me collapse." So what's the takeaway for seniors? Use onions as flavor, not the main dish. A few slices cooked into meals are safer than large, raw servings. Prefer cooked onions. Heat reduces quercetin's strong effect on blood pressure and makes onions easier to digest. Avoid heavy nighttime portions. Save onion-rich meals for lunch when circulation is stronger and hydration levels higher. Watch for warning signs. Morning dizziness, foggy thinking, or unusual fatigue may signal your pressure is dipping too low. Onions remain a valuable part of a brain-healthy diet. But after 60, balanced timing and awareness are key. Respect those rules and onions will continue to support your health. Ignore them, and they could quietly put your brain and circulation at risk. Vegetable number 7, corn. Sweet, familiar, and comforting, yet quietly risky after 60. For many of us, corn feels like home. A buttery cob at a summer cookout, a bowl of grits at breakfast, or creamed corn at Sunday dinner. It's woven into American tradition. It looks innocent, it tastes sweet, and it's been eaten for generations. But here's the truth. Most seniors are never told nutritionally corn behaves far less like a vegetable and much more like a starch. What does that mean? When you eat corn, your body converts its natural sugars rapidly into glucose, much like eating a slice of white bread. And after 60, that shift carries greater weight. Why? Because aging bodies often struggle with slower insulin responses and reduced circulation to the brain. Here's what happens inside your body when you eat corn, especially in the evening. Rapid glucose spike. Corn pushes blood sugar levels up quickly, forcing the body to release insulin. Overreaction in seniors. Research in diabetes care shows that older adults often release insulin too slowly or in excess, so blood sugar doesn't decline smoothly. Instead, it may crash. Hormonal surge overnight. When sugar drops during sleep, the body releases cortisol and adrenaline to compensate. These stress hormones constrict blood vessels and raise blood pressure, clot risk. This cycle of spikes and crashes stresses fragile arteries, thickens the blood, and increases the chance of microclots lodging in brain vessels. This roller coaster doesn't just leave you tired. It can quietly increase your stroke risk, especially if you already live with diabetes, prediabetes, high blood pressure, or vascular disease. Another concern: corn doesn't deliver much protection compared to other vegetables. While it provides fiber, it lacks the potent antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds found in greens like spinach or antioxidant-rich berries. In other words, you're getting the glucose impact without much of the defense. So should you cut out corn completely? Not necessarily. But after 60, you need to approach it with caution. Don't eat corn alone. Pair it with protein or healthy fats. Beans, eggs, or avocado help slow down sugar absorption. Avoid corn at night. Evening spikes and crashes are more dangerous during sleep when hydration is lower and the brain is sensitive to circulation changes. Limit frequency. Instead of daily grits or cornflakes, treat corn as an occasional side dish. Choose whole forms. Fresh corn on the cob digests slower than refined products like cornmeal or flakes. Corn may look harmless, but after 60 it comes with new rules. Respect the timing, pair it wisely, and limit the portions. That way you can still enjoy its familiar taste without putting your brain and blood vessels at risk. Vegetable number 8, asparagus. Elegant on the plate, but quietly draining from within. Asparagus has long carried the image of a clean food. Light refined and often served in healthy meal plans or detox diets, it feels like one of the safest choices for seniors who want to avoid heavy, greasy meals. And in many ways, asparagus does deliver benefits. It's rich in vitamins A, C, E, and K, along with fiber and antioxidants that support healthy aging. But here's the truth. Most older adults are never told asparagus is also a natural diuretic. That means it encourages your body to release water. At first glance, that might sound harmless or even helpful for flushing out the system. But after 60, the body doesn't manage fluid balance the way it once did. Research in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology shows that kidney function naturally declines with age, and by the time we reach our 70s or 80s, the kidneys can't regulate fluids as efficiently. On top of that, thirst signals weaken, meaning seniors often don't feel thirsty, even when the body is running dry. Now add fragile blood vessels into the equation. As arteries stiffen with age, they can't adjust as easily to sudden changes in blood volume. So when asparagus draws water out of the bloodstream, the overall volume decreases. Blood becomes thicker, more like syrup than water moving through pipes. And thick blood is more likely to clot, especially in the brain's delicate vessels. The risk multiplies if you're already taking blood pressure medication or blood thinners. Combined with asparagus, these can intensify dehydration and circulation issues. The danger is greatest at night. If you eat asparagus at dinner, its diuretic effect continues while you sleep. You're not replenishing fluids, so blood quietly thickens in the dark. That's when a small clot can form, cutting off oxygen to part of the brain and triggering a stroke before morning. So does this mean you should cut asparagus out entirely? Not at all. It can still be a valuable part of your diet if you follow a few smart rules. Don't eat asparagus late at night. Enjoy it earlier in the day, ideally at lunch when hydration levels are stronger. Stay hydrated with intention. Pair asparagus with a glass of water, or combine it with hydrating foods like cucumber or melon. Be mindful of medications. If you take diuretics or blood pressure drugs, check with your doctor before eating asparagus regularly. Watch for subtle warning signs. Morning dizziness, unusual fatigue, or persistent dry mouth may mean your body is running too dry. Asparagus remains elegant on the plate and supportive of healthy aging, but after 60, it comes with new rules. Respect timing, hydration, and balance, and you can continue to enjoy it without letting it quietly drain your brain and circulation while you sleep. Tomatoes may look like the perfect symbol of healthy eating, but after 60, they can behave very differently inside the body. Whether they're sliced into a crisp summer salad, simmered into pasta sauce, or blended into soup, they bring freshness, color, and flavor to the plate. For decades, seniors have leaned on tomatoes as a safe, wholesome staple. They've been praised for supporting the heart, nourishing the skin, and even protecting vision. But here's what most older adults are never told. After 60, tomatoes can quietly create risks for the brain and circulation, not because they're bad, but because of the chemical compounds they contain and the way the aging body processes them. Tomatoes belong to the nightshade family, a group of plants known for carrying certain compounds that can be more challenging for seniors. 3 stand out in particular. The first are histamines and tyramines. These can trigger inflammation and cause blood vessels to constrict or dilate in unpredictable ways, raising blood pressure in sensitive individuals. The second is solanine, a natural toxin found in nightshades that in excess can irritate the nervous system. Studies in food and chemical toxicology note that too much solanine may trigger symptoms like dizziness, numbness, or headaches. The third factor is acidity. Tomatoes are naturally acidic, and when eaten frequently, they can interfere with electrolyte balance, especially magnesium and calcium, which are critical for stable nerve signaling and vascular tone. When these effects build up together, particularly in an aging brain with fragile blood vessels, the result can mimic the signs of a stroke. Blurred vision, dizziness, slurred speech, headaches, or tingling in the limbs can all appear suddenly. Doctors sometimes call this a stroke mimic, not caused by a clot or a bleed, but by a disruption in brain chemistry and circulation. The risk rises under certain conditions: eating heavy tomato-based meals late in the evening, combining tomatoes with other nightshades such as peppers, eggplants, or potatoes, taking medications for blood pressure, circulation, or nerve health, struggling with hydration or electrolyte balance. For seniors in these situations, the effects can be more pronounced and concerning. Does this mean you should cut out tomatoes entirely? Not at all. Tomatoes still contain lycopene, a powerful antioxidant shown in studies from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition to help protect the heart and skin from oxidative stress. The key after 60 is not elimination but moderation and timing. Here are some practical tips. Avoid heavy tomato meals at night. Soups, sauces, or stews close to bedtime can quietly tip your body chemistry toward instability. Pair with minerals. Eating tomatoes with magnesium-rich foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, or nuts can help balance their acidic effect. Watch your body's signals. If you notice dizziness, fogginess, headaches, or swelling after tomato-heavy meals, don't dismiss it as just aging. These may be early warnings. Cook them gently. Heat reduces solanine levels and makes beneficial antioxidants like lycopene more available. Practice moderation. A few slices in a salad or sandwich during the day is far safer than nightly bowls of tomato soup. Tomatoes are not villains, but after 60, even a food once thought harmless can behave differently in the body. The key is to respect how your brain and circulation have changed with age. By eating tomatoes in moderation at the right time of day and balanced with other nutrients, you can still enjoy their benefits without falling victim to their hidden risks. A different kind of closing message knowledge is your strongest protection. After walking through these 9 everyday vegetables and their surprising hidden risks, it's natural to feel a little unsettled. Most of us grew up with the same message: eat more vegetables, they're always good for you. And for the most part, that's true. But what changes after 60 isn't the food itself, it's the way your body responds. Kidneys filter more slowly, blood vessels lose flexibility, hydration needs increase, and medications alter the way nutrients interact. Suddenly, even foods that once felt completely safe can tip the balance in unexpected ways. That's the real takeaway. It's no longer just what you eat, but also when you eat it, how much and what else your body is coping with at the same time. A salad at noon may fuel your energy, but the same salad at midnight could quietly raise your risk of clotting. Garlic in cooking may strengthen your heart, but concentrated supplements combined with blood thinners can thin your blood too far. Raw carrots might look harmless, yet eaten before bed, they can disrupt blood sugar overnight. This doesn't mean you should fear vegetables. It means that knowledge puts you back in control. By understanding these interactions, you can adjust your choices and let food serve you as medicine again, not as a hidden threat. So what can you start doing today? Keep it simple. Focus on whole nutrient-dense foods that don't create big spikes in blood sugar or fluid loss. Time your meals with intention, save heavier or diuretic vegetables for earlier in the day. Stay hydrated. Even 1 glass of water in the evening helps circulation. Bring this awareness to your doctor's visits and ask how your prescriptions may interact with the foods you eat every day. You are not powerless. Small mindful changes can safeguard your independence, your memory, and your future. We believe aging is not about decline, it's about wisdom. The kind of wisdom that listens to your body, adapts, and thrives. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these vegetable rules surprised you most? And will you be changing the way you eat them? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next tip that could change your life. The choices on your plate today are the foundation of your strength, clarity, and independence tomorrow. Choose wisely, and you can age not just longer, but with greater vitality, confidence, and peace of mind.